good afternoon, good day, all my beautiful people. I got, as always, my man Tex from the Crypto Barbershop himself here, Atlanta, Georgia. And I have my sister Shaky, who is a confidant in this financial world and has been a critical part of the resolution evolution that has turned into my own steam revolution. So it's a pleasure to have Shaky with us today. We're going to dive today. We're going to do a deep dive really on what is blockchain, right? We're going to get into some revelation in that and talk about it so that we, again, is for our digital asset collector community. So the more we know, the more we understand. I feel like the more we're going to continue to grow, and we're going to continue to manifest ways for us to, um, trust, continue to have a solid trust in this system, right? Because everything that I'm doing when I'm thinking about blockchain, I'm thinking about doing it for my grandkids. I'm thinking about doing it for my great grandkids. So I don't want to be short sighted in understanding the entirety of this um, opportunity um, by not seeing a pivot. So I really want to know, is blockchain a pump and dump, right? Is blockchain another way for the elite to um, trap us up in another system that is controlled? Is blockchain truly a system that's going to free us up and give us the promise and the opportunity that we're hoping for? And it's my job, my responsibility for my household to make sure that I'm sure that it is what it is. Let me be pro a little bit. Let's talk about blockchain. Let's get into some characteristics about blockchain. Um, no, I'm not gonna be pro. I'm gonna make my case that blockchain has some challenges, right? And I'm gonna say that there's another solution potentially, and then I want to see how the community feels about that, and whether or not ride and rock with this blockchain, or whether we're gonna start looking for a side piece. you know. So let me do this. Let me pop up. I want to share some some content, some photos, some things that I've been researching that bring my understanding of blockchain to the to the community, and and that lets us really dig into what is this that we are, investing in. Here we go. Share. Can they gonna let me share that? Share. Y'all gonna see my screen. All right, you see my screen. Let me say this. First of all, blockchain requires miners, right? And whether that's proof of work or proof of stake, what we're finding is that you have these pools of people who are representing large chunks of all of the cryptocurrencies top mining pools, right? So what this author here who made this slide basically says, Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin to disintermediate greedy bankers after the 2008 financial crisis. But in an ironic nod to Orwell's Animal Farm, we've replaced greedy bankers with greedy miners. And Bitcoin, Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Ethereum all require mining. They all require the use of lots and lots and lots of energy that causes them to have an issue with scalability, right? Transferring value without large fees, and secure data transfer, right? So these are the limitations right now that have to be overcome. So the good news about blockchain is that it is an immutable record, right? It is immutable, meaning imagine every single one of these sheets here that we're looking at is written with all these transactions and hundreds of thousands maybe of transactions possibly, right? Bitcoin is saying that, Bitcoin SV can process maybe 100,000 transactions per block. Per second. And that's to be determined. But right now, 1,000 transactions per second is considered rocking and rolling. That means that, there's 8 billion people in the world. And each person is going to have all kinds of devices, right? At least 10, 12 devices per person. Let's call it 10, right? And your cell phone, let me get out of this thing. Your cell phone alone, stop sharing. Okay. Your cell phone alone represents 12 different things that are talking to the internet, right? You've got an accelerometer on here. You've got a heart rate monitor on here. You've got a camera on here. You've got a gyrometer on here that's telling your location. You've got, all these different things, heat sensors, all different things that are talking to the internet constantly on this thing right here, right? And some people have 2 of them, right? So now I'm 20 devices deep that are speaking to the internet, right? Look at me. On top of the fact that I'm talking to you on a laptop, and I've got my smart TV, I've got all my kids' laptops, all these devices are talking directly to the internet. And at some point, every one of those transactions will be on a blockchain, right? So 20 things talking to the internet per person. There's 8 billion people in climbing. You're talking 100 and what's that? 160 billion things that need to speak to the blockchain. And we're excited about 1,000 transactions per second. It's not sustainable. It's not doable. And as we're talking about, blockchain is going to allow us to have, seed to sale on every item in every the world and be able to trace where it came from and all these other things. It's not 1,000 transactions per second is not going to be enough. We have to have a better way and a brighter way. And that's what I'm really wanting to really highlight today. So Shaky, please let me please say something. I don't want to feel like I'm, just a blockchain beater, right? We got a lot of value stored up in this stuff. You know what I mean?
It's a lot of value stored in it. I was hoping that that you would share with us kind of what the alternative is.
I'm,
So
I'm
before
glad.
you come on me, just give
Yeah.
us kind of what some of the alternatives are
Okay.
looking like.
Okay. So there are several different alternatives out there. Uh, one called IOTA, and they have something called the Tangle, which is multiple different technologies kind of put together, uh, working together in a coordinated web. And I'll get into some details there. There's another one called Hashgraph that looks at distributed ledger technology, but a different consensus protocol that's different than proof of work. It takes a little bit of proof of work, but not all of proof of work. So it's greatly reduced strain on the environmental grid. Um, Again, currently, Bitcoin is using the same amount of energy as the country of Austria, right? Austria, a whole country of people, and Bitcoin is using more energy than that whole country. And so, and we're just at still under world level adoption. Would you say 12%?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, you would say less than 12% world adoption.
Yep.
So, if Bitcoin is the solution, then we've got a lot more energy that is going to have to be used. A lot more, which is the opposite direction of where we think we need to go.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting because especially since, for the most part, people are now like aware that of the concerns of the environment, right? And
Yeah.
using up all of this energy is not good for the environment. So, when you talk about topics like the Green New Deal and stuff like that, it's going to be very difficult for our government officials to buy into what we currently have, especially seeing as though this could um, harm the earth,
Yeah.
essentially, with all of the
Yeah.
energy. Yeah.
I mean, look, Bitcoin is based on, Bitcoin is not blockchain, right? Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency based on blockchain technology, but Bitcoin is not blockchain. Blockchain is three main technologies working together. You have cryptography, distributed ledger, and proof of work working together to create a ledger of record that is immutable, and they trust that enough to transfer value, right? To
Mhm.
transfer value from one entity to the other across borders. And Bitcoin was the first to let us do that. And that was awesome in 2008, which is kind of, when it comes to technology, eons ago, right? Eons ago when this technology was created,
Mhm.
and it still works. Clap for them, right? Clap for them, and we're still clapping for them. But I'm not clapping for them to the tune of $60,000 for a tiny fraction of a piece of one, right? Uh, Satoshis. One Bitcoin is like 100 million Satoshis, which means that if there's 21 million Bitcoin, then there's going to be something like so many, uh, I think it's like trillion Satoshis that are going to be created, right? So really, the real play behind Bitcoin is not Bitcoin, it's Satoshis. The real play behind Ethereum is not Ethereum, it's Way, right? You have Ethereum, you have
Mhm.
Ether, and then you have Way, right?
Mhm.
And when you scale Way all the way out, Ethereum is the most diluted currency there is because we're really paying way for those transactions. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So people that are out there buying way, just like we're buying like Safe Moon or something, there are people out there buying way and knowing that at the end of the day, there's always going to be a demand for way, but that makes Ethereum like super diluted. So is so if you think Dogecoin is diluted, way is the same thing, and so is Satoshi's, right? But because we don't understand the language, we're looking at Bitcoin, and even though you're getting you know, a fraction of a Bitcoin, you're getting a bajillion Satoshis, right? A
Mm-hmm.
hundred, like a million Satoshis, which is the real currency of Bitcoin, Satoshi.
Mm-hmm.
And the real currency of Ethereum is way. And so the real currency of, IOTA is IOTA, right? But
Okay.
they measure it, and I ain't talked about it. Oh yeah, I just threw that out there. We're gonna come back to it. Um, IOTA is a solution that I recommend. IOTA Tangle. Um, it uses what's called a DAG. A DAG is a distributed um, acrylic graphic, right? A distributed acrylic graphic. It's like this. Let me show you all this. Um, to share. What is a distributed acrylic graphic? I know y'all see each other. Boom. Um, Here we go. So this is more like a blockchain.
Or more directed versus distributed. It's a
Blockchain
directed.
and a line, right? These blocks are kind of put and chained and connected together in a line, and they're very orderly, and only one block gets through at a time. So that means all of the transactions on that block have to wait until the whole block gets hit, right? A DAG is more like this, where transactions have your nodes have more of a relational relation to one another, right? And they look at the information in each node, and they find trusted nodes. And once they have the trusted nodes, then they start to establish known points from other nodes. So it's a little bit more of a distributed way of looking at how information is brought together. And it leans more heavily on distributed ledger technology than it does on these written ledgers that are validated a block at a time by solving some extremely difficult mathematical problem in order to validate that block, right? It looks at all of this information that's on there. So it needs a heavy volume of transactors. But what is the heavy volume of transactors? IoT, Internet of Things. And that's what they're banking on. They're banking on their ability to be able to connect to um, they're banking on the fact that their founders are a part of major supply chain management companies, major corporations that are, looking at interconnect their uh, their ledgers, their datas, their all of their every item, all of these sensors that are going to be everywhere, and they want to be able to make sure that they're transacting and writing to the blockchain and taking it, not writing to the blockchain, writing to the distributed ledger and take advantage of the distributed ledger property and still be uh, validated, but not at the cost that we're currently validating transactions at right now. Because right now, for me to send you a transaction, that validation cost is pretty high, you know?
Sure. So, explain to me, how does it solve the issue of energy and the amount of energy that is currently being used on blockchain today? How
Af-
does this technology differ?
because a DAG doesn't use any mining, no mining, no miners, right? It, it is using different mechanisms of achieving consensus. And these mechanisms, I can get into some, some real deep technical stuff. And we might have another session about how these hash graphs and how a DAG really works. But at the end of the day, the purpose of distributed ledger um, is about establishing a self-sovereign ID, right? When you're talking about all of my data that's out there, all of my data that's out there that I didn't even have that chance to sell to Google. They just took it, and they took it because I gave them permission, because in order to get the thing, I had to give them permission, right? But me not knowing, they took that data, and now they don't even need now they got all the data in the world about me. I'm out of the conversation, and now they're selling my data directly amongst themselves and exchanging money for my data, and I'm totally locked out of that whole exchange, and it's creating billions of dollars in revenue, and we're out, right? You agree? So blockchain was about, well, distributed ledger technology gives us a chance to reestablish our own sovereign ID. So one, I'm a citizen. Two, I graduated from blah, 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 right? Three, I qualify for blah, blah, blah. Four, I've documented blah, blah, blah. Five, I coined this phrase, or I came up with this saying, or I really did this. I made this song. I took this picture. I sent this transaction. I received this transaction. I voted for this resolution. These are all the things that we really want to take out of blockchain. But without the heavy loading on, one, the reward for all of the early adopters, right? It's overloaded. It's ridiculous at this point. You know, you got people making billions overnight, but somebody got to pay for them billions, and it's coming out of poor people's pockets who are believing late, and now they're the ones that are making those other people rich, right?
So, I
Because
mean,
they
that's
got mining machines, and they got nodes, they got master nodes, a quarter of a penny on the dollar, and they got all these different things because they knew, and all their buddies told them, hey, if you do this, you're going to be in position to be the winner. And I did it too. I'm doing it, right? Because I know, but that doesn't mean that I'm better than somebody who learns a year from now. But technically I will be better than them, because what I bought for a penny, they're going to have to buy for $1,000.
so okay. So yes, you're absolutely right. And my point to that is, I mean, lack of education is expensive.
Yeah.
It's extremely expensive. So you're either going to get your education on the front end, or you're going to get your education on the back end. Okay.
Yeah.
So not everybody's education costs the same amount. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, the beauty about cryptocurrency, um, is the fact that even the small guy can make some money, right? So even the man, even a guy on the street who only has $5 can invest in an altcoin that is 0.000321 right now of a penny, and the community and the technology behind it blows up, and they can literally be a millionaire overnight. That's the beauty of cryptocurrency. Whether you come in you know, a year ago is if or if you came in today. So that's the beauty of it. But going back to what you're saying about DAG and IOTA is my concern with it, and I hear it, and I hope that it is the future of where we're going. My concern is adaptability, um, along with um, along with also, is it decentralized? So can it do, or can it conform? Because one of the beauties of the blockchain is the fact that you can create decentralized technology on
Yeah.
it. I don't want everybody to know. When I deal in cryptocurrency, I am always on a VPN. I am some chick somewhere in Romania. So,
Got
I mean, and they don't even know I'm a chick. You know what I'm saying? I'm just
you. Yeah.
somewhere in Romania. So that's my concern with some of these new technology. Now, IOTA, would I invest in IOTA today? Absolutely. However, will I also invest in Ripple slash XRP? Absolutely. Because what's going to end up happening is, what is it that, like your JP Morgans right now, they're all over Bitcoin, right? Now,
Yeah.
there may be regulations that may cause them to go someplace else, and they may pick up XRP, Ripple, as the way to go. The US may say, okay, we can develop some stuff around that, but we're not going to go the IOTA way.
Yeah.
So I would say invest in both. So that's kind of where I come from on that.
Yeah. I think and don't get me wrong, we are digital asset collectors. Um and that's the premise behind of this is uh if we were watch collectors, we would be sitting here digging in on what makes this watch
Mhm.
valuable, right? And why it's worth 50,000. What's the difference between a $50,000 watch and Shaky, like when we were in all those MLMs together, right?
Mhm.
And everybody had a juice, or everybody had a squeezy, right?
Right.
But
Exactly.
for us, it was about telling people the difference between those squeezies and why certain ones have boning and
Right.
certain
Right.
have boning, and that juice got a lot of sugar in it, and this don't have a lot of sugar in it. And I
Right.
think for the same energy that our community gave them a lot of energy, you know,
Mhm.
and we studied those products and made sure that we understood. And this is the cocoa blend, and it's make your heart smell right and all kind of stuff, right? That we would pour energy into learning for the opportunity for that quick buck, for that supervisor bonus,
Yeah.
right? Or for that next presidential bonus.
Mhm.
And I think if we take that same fervor out of our community and put that energy into us learning these technologies and how they work, what's the gears behind them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the energy that we put into knowing every player that was drafted in the last 3 days, even down to the one that they call Mr. Irrelevant. He has a whole article written about him, about being the last person in the draft. And people read that article,
Mm.
right? But if you send them something about, how these things work, oh man, I don't understand that stuff. I can't, but they want, but please tell me how to buy them Bitcoins, man. Give me you know, we have wallet parties and it's cool to have people come. We do it once a month at the Russell Center, uh,
Mm.
the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurship, 504 Fair Street. That's our Steam Revolution headquarters. And I'm also the chair of the Georgia Government Blockchain Association. And so, in those two capacities, we try to teach people about blockchain. We want to bring the communities out. We have wallet parties, right? So that people can know how to literally get in the game, right? And take whatever they have and get into this. But So I don't shun Bitcoin, right? My message today is don't miss the pivot, right? So
Mhm.
don't just hit the ground running in one direction like you're gonna always run like that. You gotta be more like Barry Sanders and come out here looking to have some juke moves before they even give you the ball. He had the
Mhm.
juke before he got the ball
Mhm.
because it was
Mhm.
already a D lineman right in his face.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way that we have to look at this technology out here because, you know, we're a believing people, right? But then that same faith and belief causes you to miss the juke move and get smashed by the linebacker, right? And the whole hook and ladder thing. How many times we gonna fall for it? So I think for us is be cognizant and keep your head on a swivel out here in any of these investment communities, right? Whether
Mhm.
it's real estate, whether it's options, and whether it's out here day trading and now we done switched into something that's day trading 24/7, right? And then you got uni swaps and swaps and swaps, swappity blah blah, and all these mechanisms for people that were not even in the investment game at all
Yes.
30 years ago.
Yep. Yep. But that's the
So
beauty of it. That's the
it's
beauty
beautiful.
of it. You
It's
have a
beautiful.
whole community that was literally head in the sand,
Yeah,
right?
dirt.
About all sorts of investments. Now, like, you know, just recently, as a matter of fact, I would say in the last 10 years, I love 90s hip hop. Absolutely love 90s hip hop, right? But I mean, as of late, you know, within the last 10 years, you've heard Jay-Z talking about buying up the block and this and that and all this other kind of stuff, right? So it's in our music talking about real estate now, right? And then what just happened? DJ Khaled dropped "Sorry I'm Not Sorry," and Nas is now spitting verses about blockchain, what I'm saying, and
Yeah,
cryptocurrency. Like,
yeah,
do you know how much when I heard the lyric, I was like, oh my God, oh my God. Like we're on. Like if you don't understand
yeah,
what music and what even Elon Musk individually drove up a coin, right?
yeah.
So if you don't see like what everything around you is doing and having an influence on things, you're going to be behind the curve. But I'm super excited that our community is getting in these spaces a lot more than they were in, say, our parents day.
And I'm glad, but this is what I'm the most cognizant of because we
Mm.
are the most vulnerable to. And it's this, you know? And can you see this?
Yep. Yep.
This is the point. And the point of all of this is that the opportunity is so rich that those who have the least will pay the most to take a ride, you know? And those that have the most pay the same to take that ride. So the lady that had the penny at the offering is not getting the credit that she was given by the master. She's getting a fraction of a credit for the same faith, for the same faith that it took me to get in at this many pennies. It takes the next person for either for being miseducated, uneducated, undereducated, a lot more faith to get the same thing. And that is not sustainable. And that is also not, I mean, I'm going to benefit. We're all going to benefit, hopefully. But I don't think that water is going to flow uphill like that. Water will not, no matter what you tell it to do, it is not going to run uphill. It's not going to do it, right? It's just not
I
going
I I hear you. I hear you. Just like with everything, it's going to take a campaign
to.
of
Yeah.
efforts for this to happen because iota still isn't going to move unless there is community,
Of course,
unless there is something that is pushing it.
I agree with you. I believe that the community that's coming is not humans. The community is the internet of stuff, right? This is the community. And your car and your phones and all those things, your house, all those things that are going to be talking to the internet and that are going to want the the freedom that distributed ledger brings, right? They're going to want to speak to the internet of things and say, "Hey, I need a new motor. I need a new hey, I'm out of ice, or my ice maker's been broken for the last or my filter is old and I've been telling the owner, but the owner ain't gonna change it, right?
So Corey, answer me that. I'm sorry to interrupt, but answer me this. So are you saying then? Okay, so help me understand. Are new coins going to have to be created to be to use the DAG technology, or will the current coins and tokens that exist today be able to transfer onto there?
I believe that what'll happen is just like the world learned about Ethereum and started creating ERC20 tokens,
Hmm.
those same people that created ERC20 tokens are going to start either creating tokens on DAG protocols or are going to find some way to either wrap their tokens or transfer their liquidity into these protocols. And because of the, again, because water flows the direction of freedom, uh, you are not going to convince me that a transactionless space is not going to steal attention from a transaction heavy space. And the more things that I have some kind of advertisement, coin market cap flowing in, a coin market cap moment. But now they getting free advertising for now. Y'all
It
gonna
is
pay us coin market.
$2.08 right now.
All right. And I want to show y'all something in particular about, is my screen shared? It is. Where you at? IOTA. See this myota? That's important. That means something. What you're buying, this is not $2.08 per IOTA coin. You're buying 1 million IOTA. See what I'm saying?
Mm.
So they have like a piota, a giota, a myota, all the way down because white paper. Because they are designed for they have like 100 trillion coins, iotas. And so what we're buying is 1 million iota, just like you're buying a number of satoshis when you go on Cash App and buy a make a Bitcoin transaction. They give you a number of satoshis, right? So I just wanted to point that out. Hold on. When you see what's a myota, see this iota price, myota. So it's $2.07 per 1 million iota.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So that's why the circulating supply is showing 2,779,530,000 myota. So that's million iota. So that the total supply is like 2,779,000,000 whatever. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I just want to make sure we pointed that out because that affects the scalability and that affects the overall ability to the bigger iota gets, the faster it gets, the more transactions happen on it.
All right. So am I buying it with USDT or do you buy it with
It's your choice on Binance, right? It's your choice. Their CoinMarketCap's confidence is very high. See that? That's CoinMarketCap. Spot. Futures. Let's see what they got. Nothing. Spot. CoinMarketCaps. Volume. Binance did 37 million in volume, 24 hours. Let's look at their total 24-hour volume. 115 million 24-hour volume. Fully diluted market cap 5 billion. It's not bad. They are the number 29 coin. Number 29. And they just had the major launch of Chrysalis on Tuesday. See? Crypto Finance Group has announced it will support the upcoming IOTA upgrade following its involvement in the planning development upgrade. How IOTA could reach 1 billion in tokens locked before Chrysalis. That's already been done. Chrysalis is already done, and they got billions locked in. Billions. 5 billion. So dig in. Pay attention. YouTube, don't let me be the only as always, I want to highlight my intentions here. I am not a financial advisor. All investments have inherent risks. As always, do your own research. My videos are for entertainment, and they are entertaining and informational, but they're for those purposes only. All right. This is a production of and sponsored by our nonprofit Steam Revolution. And visit us at www.thesteamrevolution.com. And be on the lookout for our Be the Bank merch to support the channel, support our efforts to keep this thing going. I just wanted to take that commercial break. And let me also say this one thing. I have officially launched our So it is out now. It is on OpenSeas.io, and we are going to do a fundraiser for it. The current price of the NFT is 20 Ethereum, and we are raising 20 Ethereum to support our efforts to help transition veterans and families of veterans into digital career pathways. So every dollar that comes from the sale of that NFT will go towards helping our veterans and their families, whether it's their kids, their spouses, their loved ones, even some of their friends, to help make this digital divide transfer and get into some of this knowledge of all we're talking about when we're talking scalability, understanding what cloud is, understanding what blockchain is, understanding what, the Internet of Things, and all, what a virtual private network, a VPN, and what Ms. Shaky was talking about earlier about how to have that. The more we understand how to deliver those services, the more that we can be involved in the opportunity related to those services. So, again, support by sharing. I'm going to have links out so we can all share and join our Telegram, Digital Asset Collectors. Reach out to us, share this so we can grow this community. We want to be, number one, high touch. Number two, high knowledge, high information. Number three, high tech. We want to stay ahead of the curve and make sure that we can juke off of both feet, the left and the right foot. You know what I mean? So again, it's been almost an hour now. Shaky, first of all, Dex, man, you've been quiet on the set, man, just kind of laying in the cut for the people, representing the people, but you got to say something.
I'm pretty much inspired, obviously, as usual, man. Everything was informative. I got all my insight. You did well. Presentation was good.
Good.
Keep the portfolio information flowing. All the details were there.
Good,
man. If there were more questions, I'd have them, but I don't.
Look,
good work.
D.A.G, right? D.A.Gs. Pay attention to D.A.Gs and pay attention to IOTA. Don't.
Yeah, as you were speaking, I was favorited and adding them to the follow and all the details. Every time you drop them, if you lose me on the screen, it's because I'm going to look at it as you speak.
Yeah, and blockchain is still a wave, and it I think it is a tremendous wave, and we haven't missed it. Right, still early adoption. There's still a ton of value. We're going to have a special class, a special event. We're going to talk about wealth management, right? We're going to talk about trust, wills. We're going to talk about insurance and insurance policies, because I believe that there is a distributed ledger solution. And I believe that that is either going to be a blockchain solution or a D.A.G solution. But I believe that there is a way for all of us to always be covered, always be documented, always be protected, and always have access to liquidity. And that the healthier you are, the better you take care of yourself, the younger you are, the more you build up liquidity for yourself later in life. So don't miss our show. It's going to be a special show. It's not going to be on Sunday. I'm going to pool a group of professionals together. I'll probably have Shaky with me. She's a wealth management superstar. And we'll probably invite one or two other wealth management heads and just have a discussion about what is the role for blockchain and wealth management and in continuity, right? And wealth transfer, right? We talk about the transfer of a store of value. Let's talk about the ultimate transfer of value. And that's when you pass and you transfer all that you've worked for to your loved ones, right? And you want to make sure that you're doing that with minimal activity of the state, right? Minimal activity of the lawyers, minimal activity of the county, minimal activity of Netflix, minimal activity of the bank, minimal activity of all these other people that are going to make sure that they get their part before you get your drop, right? So for us, it's going to be about making sure that we can create fast mechanisms that can cover the gap. Because I bet if I go back to my hometown right now, I'm willing to bet $1 to a dime that most, I'm talking high 90% of them, have never seen a trust document. And a high 80% of them, if not 90, don't have a will, right? But here we are with stuff like COVID out there and the randomness of society. If it ain't COVID, it's the police. And if it ain't the police, it's your neighbor, right? And if you're not covered down, the worst way to find out is when the state is holding the bag. You feel me, Shaky? So I want to have a special episode here so that we could, because all this cryptocurrency, all this real estate, all this means nothing if something happens to you and your children can't touch it until they're 18 years old and it's done been chewed through by all of the custodians and the hoans and the blah blah blahs and the ad litems and the conservators and the state and the judge and his friend, the executive of the state is his homeboy, he's setting his rate of $350 an hour to send an email and to investigate stuff that you should have already known.
Mm-hmm. And Corey, just to, because I know we'll talk about it again when that conversation comes up, but I just really want people, because a lot can happen between now and that conversation. Yeah. But currently, right now, if you have any cryptocurrency that is sitting in any sort of wallet, you need to have at least one loved one or that information, your 12 keys, your 12 keywords, your authenticators, all of that needs to be able to be somewhere that a loved one can access it. Yeah. Because if not, all of that cryptocurrency is gone because that person can't access the funds. So I'm sure we'll talk about that.
No. I will extend for this. We'll keep it on crypto because people lose their passwords and people die. They get in accidents. They lose their memories. They get hit upside the head. They get robbed. They have aneurysms and strokes and things, and then they can't remember things. And it can, it's different when it's all your family's wealth. So we have to be very, very diligent about continuity of information and about our passwords and how they're kept and we need to even be considering crypto insurance. I've been dropping it in the group. There are crypto insurance policies out there where you can insure your crypto bag against loss of password. And you can insure your crypto bag. You can even insure your crypto bag against a sudden dip. So, I mean, all of that is stuff that we need to be, as we build our knowledge and our faith will come with actions, and actions come with consequences.
Mm-hmm. And lack of action. So to your point, and lack of action comes with consequences.
Yeah.
So like today, Corey was talking about IOTA. I'm literally, he's talking and I'm buying IOTA. Like, because tomorrow it could be 3 times that amount. So lack of action can cost us money. So anything you hear, again, we're not financial advisors. We're not telling, again, do your own research. The disclaimer is right there.
Yeah.
But do know that things change from day to day, from second to second.
Yeah. And you're talking to people who are invested, so we're not telling you about what we heard. We are, we're having a church meeting more than anything, because these are the people who are expressing faith out here. It takes faith to be in this space, It takes a lot of faith. I don't care what you say, man. I'm telling you, you're going to find nothing but the church out here in this blockchain world, because it takes faith to be out here, man. It's scary every time you press that button, right? You ever have a transaction disappear on you, sis?
I have, like, oh my gosh. How about like trying to transfer $10,000 into a different wallet, and you like, it takes over 24 hours. You thinking all of that is gone. Yes.
Hey, I'm telling you, it's salute to these blockchain warriors out here, people who are not afraid, people who choose to have opportunity and will not be locked out for fear, right? And for every dollar that they have gained in value, I just salute them. It's rewarding and it's worth it. And some of it has when they have these pumps, though, it gets a little unfair when you see people who come in late and then the air runs out, and now they stuck holding the bag for God knows when the next pump is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but these are the ones that get in for the wrong reasons. They're not digital asset collectors, and they're going to be traders. And traders, just a word in and of itself. I mean, a little bit of spelling different, but
I mean, that's one of the things that you and I, like, we talk about. Like, I am a trader. Although I do have some hold. I do hold some, but I am a trader. So, I mean, there are.
I'm gonna have an episode for the traders, man. I think I'm gonna disappear, and I'm gonna get Clint and you, and we're gonna have people that just want to talk about that swap life. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I have to leave the room though, because turbulence is just. I was never the roller coaster rider. I'd be like, nah, put me on the gravitron thing that spins. At least I stay in the same seat the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dips. I'm not good with the dips. So bless y'all.
This past Friday, I made $1,000 in XRP. XRP shot up. Like, you grab it and you go. Like, it's.
And you were out. You got in and got out.
I got in and got out. I mean, I still have some XRP because I don't want to get stuck repurchasing XRP on the high end, but I mean, surely I'm gonna grab some money. So I'll never have my coins just sitting in a wallet.
Look, $1,000 is how many safe moons right now?
Oh,
A ridiculous
trillion,
amount.
trillion.
And you can stake SafeMoon,
Yeah,
and there are liquidity swaps for SafeMoon.
but I
So
wouldn't. I wouldn't give up my XRP to go on a safe moon.
no,
We can
I'm
talk
saying
about that.
if you snatched $1,000, first of all, I just want you to know that Steam Revolution is a nonprofit organization. Now, let me stop. The doors to the church stay open. So y'all out here killing it, man. Don't forget about your people. I mean,
Yes, I got you. I got you. I got you. I love it.
Right. Well, look, I had fun. Thank you for joining me here. I hope we learned something. I hope I didn't bash Bitcoin too much or blockchain too much.
Very useful.
I hope I did poke some legitimate holes though that the blockchain tech community are gonna have to fill for us or give us some more long-term, certainty about the long-term viability as we promise scalability all over the world. And I'm not going to let them off the hook, or we're going to learn how to tango. You know what I mean? Because water won't flow uphill. So that's my time. That's our time. We got Shaky. We got Dex.
Yes, Lord. Amen.
Digital asset collectors, man. Y'all be good. Take care.